Hey, Yazoo. Hey, Yaza. Hey, Zuza. For the benefit of our friends from the media, I have been welcoming His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the next President of the Republic of Ghana, to North Tongue with such great delight. Our incoming President, we call him Togbe Anukwale Bato. He is the chief of truth. He speaks the truth at all times. He is not deceptive. He does not disrespect the Ghanaian people. He does not have a low view, a low esteem of the Ghanaian people. He holds all Ghanaians in high esteem, and that is why he does not peddle falsehood. President Mahama is the only former president to be subjected to a mischievous corruption referral by his successor, President Akufo-Addo. It's never happened in our history. And yet, President Mahama, after 4 years of international investigations, OSP Ghana, OSP UK, France, United States of America, the only former president subjected to an international inquiry, and he has emerged squeaky clean. He is smelling of roses. He has been cleared. He is incorruptible. He is a man who uses national resources for the benefit of our people. And we have seen it here in our constituency. But let me ask a question. Can you imagine what will happen if President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Bawumia are subjected to the same international investigations? Can you imagine what will happen? Can you imagine how they will come out of that? It will be disastrous. You know the work I've been doing in Parliament. National Cathedral alone. National Cathedral. That scandal alone. A project without PPA approval. $58.1 million sunk in a hole. The world's most expensive pit. We never saw this under President Mahama. As we speak, a gentleman called Kari Summers is keeping Ghana $6 million in the United States of America. So, can you imagine if President Akufo-Addo, what he put his former colleague, the former president, through, his predecessor, can you imagine just 1 week of that? Can you imagine how he will come out? So we in the NDC, we are very, very proud of our flag bearer. He is incorruptible. He is clean. During his time, President Mahama, he used our presidential jet. Not once did he say that the presidential jet was not luxurious enough. And so he's going to charter 20,000 euros an hour. So far, by our conservative estimates, over $100 million has been spent on that useless, profligate, ostentatious, extravagant, needless extravaganza. Something President Mahama never did and will never do. Did you ever hear that under President Mahama, he is going to buy ambulance spare parts? More expensive than the ambulance. $34.9 million. And Moral Society is quiet. President's daughter's business partners. Murky family affair. We never saw this under President Mahama. His children and his children's business partners were far removed from state resources. That is the incorruptible leader the NDC has. And we are very, very proud of him. President Mahama ordered 150 ambulances when he was president. Never, when you check the records. An ambulance which costs $80,000. They are going to buy spare parts at $113,000 per ambulance. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Meanwhile, we need money for the Podoi Abutia Road. We need money to revive Japon Texas. We need money to revive Aveima Rice. We need money to create more factories for our youth, to expand secondary schools, to establish a tertiary institution in the entire Ton Enclave. The entire Ton Enclave, we don't have even one tertiary institution. And yet, this is what Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are doing with our resources. And Bawumia, who said he will end sole sourcing, he is busy awarding sole source contracts, single source contracts to his brother's companies. We never saw this under the incorruptible President John Dramani Mahama. And that is why we are all clamoring for change. That is why we want the former president to return to the Flagstaff House, to reset our country, to rescue our country, to stop the corruption, to stop the abuse of office, to stop the disrespect of the Ghanaian people, to stop the reckless expenditure on things that do not matter to the Ghanaian. So the chiefs and people of North Tongue, today we begin a new journey. The journey to reinstate former President Mahama, to secure at least 94%, and to make sure that this country has hope again. That the children that you see today can grow in a country where there will be peace, there will be prosperity, there will be harmony, and there will be development for all. And I know that President Mahama and Professor Nana Jenopoko-Agyeman, a safe pair, an incorruptible pair, a dedicated pair, a patriotic pair, they will deliver the goods and send us to the promised land. And that is why our revered chiefs are here, because they know that this is a man who stands for respect and dignity. Mau Neyirami, Akpanami, Ale mi dogogba, Makoji Jonto, Makoji Jonto, Makoji Jonto, Mau Neyirami, Akpanami, Miaweva Odo, Akpa.
Thank you, Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa Togbi Wogbeji. It is now time for the man to reset Ghana. The man to move Ghana on the path of progress and prosperity. The man to build the Ghana that we want together. The man who subjected himself to the State Anti-Corruption Agency and came out squeaky clean. The nation builder. He is the hope for the women, the hope for our farmers. Let us welcome the visionary, the quintessential gentleman, His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama. Choboy! Choboy!
Thank you. Thank you. Togbio, Mamao, and all the citizens of North Tongue, the gateway to Volta region. I want to thank you for the warm welcome you have given me this morning. I just want to touch on a few things. One, if you hear the description of the Volta region as the World Bank of the NDC, it is not because of the nominal votes that we get in the region. Because if you take just the nominal votes we get, then it is not the biggest that we get, but it is about the percentage of votes that we get. And Volta region, when it comes to NDC's results in the presidential, Volta region is always the highest. And that is why it has earned the name the World Bank. Now, in 2020, if you look at the results we got in Volta region, we got above 84%. Above 84%. But in the past, please, Vuvuzelas, you calm down. When I finish, you can blow to heaven till heaven comes down. Thank you. If you look at the 84%, it is not the highest we have gotten. Because in Rawlings' time, MPP used to get single digit in Volta region. In 2020, they have climbed and climbed and climbed, and in 2020 they got 14%. And so it means that they are making inroads into the Volta region. Now, what do? They use propaganda, and they come and tell you that you vote for NDC all the time, and yet NDC has done nothing for you. And so even though we can see what we have gotten under NDC, the propaganda is so strong that we actually believe that NDC has done nothing. And yet, if you take the Volta region, from electricity to water to education to health to roads, everything that you find here in Volta region was provided in the time of NDC. And any time the MPP comes into government, development of infrastructure in the Volta region comes to a halt until NDC comes back. All the roads we started, Japon, Adidome Road, we're about 80% complete. The fact that we had even reached 80%, that road would not have been continued. Look at the road from Japon Podoi to Abutia. We had a contractor working on it. That road should have been long finished by now. As soon as we left office, the road came to a standstill. When NDC was in office, Japon Textiles, we revived it. It was working. People had work to do. Today, what has happened to Japon Textiles? And yet, they'll come with propaganda and say NDC has done nothing for you. And you know what they do? You see, NDC invests in things that will benefit the people, their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren. When we provide electricity, you're not the only ones going to enjoy it. Your children and your grandchildren are going to enjoy it. When we build infrastructure in your schools, you're not the only ones going to enjoy it. It will be there for your grandchildren. When they are ill, they will go to the hospital. When we provide drinking water, you're not the only ones going to drink that water. Your children will come and drink that water. But what the MPP does is, they'll come and choose amongst you 1, 2, 3, 4 people. And when they steal the money, they'll give them some. And so they also will come and give you 200, 200, 200, 200. And you say, oh, since we started elections, nobody has given me 200, so I'll vote for MPP. But you forget that the more lasting development, the more lasting benefit, that benefits not only your community, but generations yet unborn. You forget that it was provided under NDC's period. And so, let us be careful of that propaganda. They will come. Elections are coming. They're going to come with a lot of money. They've made money in 8 years. Their war chest is full. But remember what happened to them in Asin North. You heard about Asin North by-election. So a song came. Yedi, 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 oh, chasopoku sikano, yedi. You see the van that carries money. from bank to bank. When bank needs money, they put the money in a van and they take it to the bank. Those, they call them bullion vans. Those bullion vans were in Asenov. And they were packed with 200 CD notes. 200 CD notes. And I went to Asenov myself. And anybody who was going to vote 200 CDs, 200 CDs, 200 CDs, 200 CDs, 200 CDs. And we told the people, we said, look, at first the people were afraid. They say if you chop the money and you don't vote for them, Kwele Kweji will catch you. And we told the people, if somebody steals your money and the person brings your money back to you, there's no Kwele Kweji matter in this one. And so collect the money and chop it. As enough, they chopped the money. But they went and voted for the truth. Nobody has died from Kwele Kweji in Asenov for chopping that money. So they are going to come with the money. And I'm telling you, the people of Japan, North Tongue, when the money comes, collect it and chop it. Because the money is your own money. And when you go to the ballot box, vote for the truth. We all know what we've gone through in this country over the last 8 years. I mean, nothing is working in this country anymore. I mean, look at national service people who are giving a selfless service to their country. That's why we call it national service. And we have given a law that when you finish a tertiary education, you must go and do national service, whether you want it or not. And so these young boys and girls finish school and go and do national service. Never in the history of Ghana, because that allowance is meager. I think it's about 700 CDs today. 700 CDs, that's all they get. The allowance is meager. And never in the history of this country have national service allowances been in arrears. Never ever been in arrears, except under Baumia and Akufo-Addo. National service people have not been paid for several months. Nothing is working. They went and deceived these young people and said they are NAPCO volunteers or whatever, and took them to different places to go and work, give service. They too, how much were they paying? 700 CDs. Up to now, how many years? They owe these NAPCO trainees 10 months arrears. Is there any NAPCO trainee here? Okay. They owe them 10 months arrears. Nothing is working. When we told the nurses and teachers, we said, look, we want to increase the numbers because more of our daughters and our sisters want to go for nursing training. More of our teachers, our young people want to go for teacher training. And so we'll move you from allowances onto the student's loan. And Baumia and Akufo-Addo said, no, he's a wicked man. He's a wicked man. When we come, we'll pay you the allowances. Today, some of those allowances are in arrears for 30 months. 30 months, 30. There are people who went to first year nursing training, finished third year, and didn't get allowance even once. You see, that's why we say dishonesty. And when they say some people lie, it is because they can't be trusted. All they want is to win political power. And so they'll tell you the sweetest things you want to hear. But NDC does not talk, we act. We are not talkers, we are actors. And so when we said we're going to rehabilitate the Adomi Bridge, we did it. When we said we're going to do the Juapong at the Dome Road, we did it. We gave the Eastern Corridor Road on contract. Workers were busy on the road from Esikuma Junction towards Peki and towards Have. When they came, they asked all contractors to stop work. They are going to investigate before they continue. They investigated and there was nothing. Up to today, the Eastern Corridor Road is not finished. But I think it's God, in his own design, decided that that road will be finished by NDC. And so it's a priority for us. When we come, the Eastern Corridor Road, we're going to tackle it as a priority and we'll finish it so that we can ease the traffic going on the road from here all the way to Boko. My brothers and sisters, we are on the brink of making history. God created Adam and Eve, and he created them as partners, man and woman. And so our women are our partners. And so everything we do, we must do with them. Women have achieved a lot in Ghana. They dominate agriculture, they dominate business and trade. And if you go to the small and medium enterprise sector, it is women who are dominant. In public office, they have been ministers of state, they are judges of the courts, chief justices, director of prisons, ministers, just name it, members of parliament. The only two offices that a woman has never occupied in Ghana is the vice presidency and the presidency. And so, history is about to be made. Because for the first time, actually the second time, because Nana Jane was nominated in 2020, but for the first time, the chance that Ghana is going to elect historically a first woman as vice president is just right before us on 7th December. And it must be an inspiration to all our women, to all our mothers, to all our sisters, to all our daughters, that women can also aspire to the highest offices of the land. And I know that the woman we have chosen is a very capable woman. And we chose her not only because she's a woman, but she's a very capable woman. It is she who in her time as Minister of Education ensured that every child in basic school had access to the 4 core textbooks that they needed. Before then, 4 children used to share 1 textbook. And the Nana Jane, it was 1 child to 4 textbooks. She is the architect of the E-blocks that you see, the community day schools. It was her who was responsible for the design, the costing, the procurement and everything as my Minister of Education. And of course, everybody remembers that she was the first female Vice Chancellor of a public university in Ghana. And so she comes to the position on her own merit. And I know that on 7th December, history is going to be made in this country. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is going to be elected the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. And let me wrap up. Let me conclude. North Tongue, you have a jewel. You have a precious thing. Your member of parliament, Togbi Wogbeji, you don't know what you have. He is a model MP. MPs have two responsibilities. Their responsibility in parliament to speak on your behalf and make laws on your behalf. When it comes to that, he is right in front of the NDC bench as one of our leading young MPs doing advocacy in parliament and making laws for Ghana. And then MPs are supposed to be advocates for development in their constituency. When it comes to his constituency too, and it comes to development, he is one of the best advocates for development in his constituency. But aside from that, today, when you talk about anti-corruption crusaders, and he's not a journalist, so I can't say investigative journalist. And investigative detectives. He is number one. So now everybody knows that if you are a whistleblower, the best person to take your matter to is to Togbi Wogbeji. Because once you bring it, he will go into the matter, he will investigate it, establish the truth in the matter, and when he starts tackling the matter, you can be sure that he will go into it to the real core of what has happened. And so everybody is proud of him. He's done very well. And I know that you're going to return him to parliament with a resounding margin of victory. I don't know why his opponent is even struggling. It's just a waste of time. It is a no contest. It's like a featherweight deciding to fight a heavyweight in boxing. And so I know that you're going to give him a resounding victory. We need a majority of seats, and therefore we need all our MPs back so that we can begin the work of reviving this economy that has been destroyed by Bawumia and Akufo-Addo. And so vote massively. And I hear the operation is 94%. The chairman says it will be 95%. And I know that you can do it. And once you do that, that should send a signal to all the other constituencies that we must re-establish NDC's World Bank here in Volta region. We don't want 84%, we don't want 85%, we want above 90% in Volta region. And so I present to you your member of parliament and parliamentary candidate for 2024, the Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa.